I have been looking forward to this session. We've billed it as learning how to close $100,000 deals today. So in this conversation with leaders from 3 of the world's top providers, they'll reveal how technology advisors are finding, nurturing, and beating direct sales teams to close high-level contracts in the world of remote selling. You don't have to be a whale hunter, and you don't have to focus on enterprise deals to consistently land 6-figure deals. I'm Steve Farmelo. I'm the Senior Channel Manager for AppSmart, and I've got fantastic panelists today. Garrett G., the Senior Vice President of the Indirect Sales Team at Lumen, Kathy Mazza, the RVP of Strategic Channel Sales at 8x8, and Jim Regan, the Channel Chief at Vonage. I'd like you to each give maybe a 2-minute self-introduction because your resumes are too big for me to go over. So why don't you give just a brief introduction and then end it with a little known fact about yourself. Kathy, why don't we start with you?
Thank you, sir. So as you mentioned, RVP for Strategic Channels here at 8x8. I work directly under John Delosier, our Global Channel Chief at SVP. So I am responsible for all of our direct partnerships that we have at 8x8 globally. So AppSmart being obviously one of our top masters in that. And how I got here is certainly a little different. I've had 25 plus years in technology, product marketing, direct sales, account management, project management. Really how I got here. JD likes to mention a little known fact is he found me and I think I was an assistant somewhere along the way back at my CenturyLink days. So a little known fact, and Steve and I now have really peeled back the onion there. I am a Texan, a self-proclaimed Texan who didn't actually live in Texas until I went to college and then quickly left, but always looking to get back. I've lived overseas my entire life. So most folks don't realize that I went to boarding school in London, lived in Saudi, lived in Turkey, lived in Germany. So it's a little known fact.
Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. Great job. Garrett, let's go to you.
Yeah, good stuff, Kathy. Welcome, everybody. Glad to be here. Garrett G. I'm the Senior Vice President at Lumen Technologies. Many of you, I'm sure you've seen the announcements about our brand change, but we've really evolved from a traditional telco into a technology company. We'll talk a little bit about that probably today, but I've been at this for 25 years, had the pleasure of running the program here at Lumen, and really, we're a global infrastructure and technology company, and we're really excited about a lot of the things that we're doing in IT managed services, cloud. We still bring a lot of IP and fiber-based services to a lot of you, but we're super excited about where our technology is evolving to. So I'm excited to be here with everybody to talk about how to land those 100K deals. I am one of probably millions of people that have gotten a COVID puppy. So if you guys, hear some barking in the background, we're having a lot of fun with the puppy, but it's a lot of work.
Let's go to Jim. Jim, how about yourself?
Jim Regan from Vonage. I've been in the space almost 20 years in the channel in particular. Spent most of that time with Vonage, which is part of the reason I'm so excited to have taken the role of the channel leader here. Vonage is helping customers in this age of digital transformation, and we ourselves, much like Garrett's story, right, have pivoted as a company from largely residential even 10 years ago to now leading the contact center, API, and UC space. I would say for me, a fun fact, when I was in college, I took my mother and my grandparents to the Regis and Kathy Lee show, and I was selected as the audience member. I won a chair and some Jordache jeans. And so that's I think a little known fact, certainly a little known fact about me, but looking forward to today's discussion.
Let's start with Garrett. So Garrett, I can imagine a technology advisors watching this thinking that $100,000 deals are few and far between. Is it even realistic that we can close a $100,000 deal?
Yeah, well, I would say yes. I mean, luckily for the Lumen program, we just got one this morning. So we're celebrating. It's a global infrastructure deal. They are out there. To be honest, for me to hit the lofty targets that my boss has in front of me, we got to get a couple of those per quarter. I think my colleagues would agree with that. It's part of our strategy is that, we certainly want to support that flywheel business, and we do really well. And, to use the baseball analogies, we get a lot of, doubles and triples, but we got to get those home runs and grand slams, and they are real. They are certainly out there. I would say the complexion that we're seeing a little different than what you would have seen, 3 or 4 years, at least for Lumen, was we are winning a lot of these larger MPLS type wavelength deals. And as we know, some of those services have been commoditized over time. And now what we're seeing are these large edge deals, IT managed services, CDN. Those are the type of technologies that you need to learn and invest in if you want to find these larger deals, but they are certainly out there.
Great.
I'd love to add, and I completely agree with everything Garrett said, 100%, they are there, and, everybody has an opportunity. We talk about, work from anywhere. I think Garrett had mentioned it, at the onset of the pandemic, it really has accelerated those conversations. And, CIOs that I remember as a seller 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was more about shadow IT. And now it's really about, decisions and them having a seat at the table around digital transformation and moving to the cloud. It's really there, and they're there for all of the trusted advisors, technology advisors to get. So 100% agree.
Now that we know that the deals are realistic, they're out there. Okay, let's talk about the personality type of the people winning these deals. I'm sure, Jim, you've seen many diverse personalities of the trusted advisors bring in these large deals. What's a common thread of the personality type of the advisors that are hitting these home runs?
Yeah, I think you said it best, Steve, right? It's not a particular partner, right? It's a common personality type. And I think for us, it's the person who's a hustler. It's the person who's going to do their homework, right? It's understanding the market. It's doing your research, making sure you understand not only what's out there as far as a solution set, but what your customers need. The other thing we see in this space is that the partner who's able to knock down those $100,000 deals are as much a project manager as they are a salesperson, right? So you're project managing the sales process, and then you're continuing to help project manage as we, from point of sale forward, right? We'll do that, right? I think all three of us, our companies are poised to deliver on those accounts, but the best partners in terms of success rate in that $100,000 space are absolutely doing homework and project managing on those deals, because there's complexity there. There's lots of meetings, there's lots of discovery, but it's during those sessions where you uncover the pain points and the complexity, because it's not a single facet sale, right? You're selling 2 or 3, whether it's Garrett talking about global infrastructure or Kathy mentioning this cloud transformation. It's not just one piece, right? The people that are winning this space are selling a variety of services and solutions to the customer.
Yeah, just a comment I make to trigger on Jim's comment around solutions. I think that's the key attribute where, trusted advisors that go in and they look for what outcomes, is the customer trying to solve for, instead of, trying to sell services or units to end users when they come with a robust solution, which in a lot of cases, means that they're selling multiple, solution providers, or, we complement one another in many cases, the people on this panel. So, the final thing I would say is you got to invest a lot of time. And where I've seen some partners maybe trip is if they only hunt after whales, you're not going to win every single one of those deals. So you definitely need to chase, that normal kind of standard business to keep the revenue coming in, but then really invest the time that you need on these large, enterprise deals to get them over the line.
Let's talk about where to find these deals. And Kathy, I'll start this question to you. What are some of the most successful technology advisors doing different than the others to find these deals, these $100,000 deals?
Yeah, well, I think it's a combination of, exactly what, both Jim and Garrett have said. And it really always starts with a capital R. And so it's relationships and, technology advisors that are engaged in these $100,000 deals. They're never single threaded within their customers. They are connected in all facets of the business, and, they're solution centric. They're really talking about digital transformation, and that's always top of mind. They certainly don't happen overnight. What we're seeing is that, with these really large 6-figure deals, a lot of these partners have been supporting these customers for 5, 10, sometimes even 15 years and doing what that title says, and that's advising. They're being trusted by the customer and they've got a detailed understanding of how that customer's business works, and they're advising and they're continually educating. So, COVID, what we're in right now, it's just the latest in a series of crises. So we had 9/11, we had the security breaches we all talked about. I'm in California, the wildfires, the hurricanes on the East Coast. So it's constantly staying top of mind. There was a recent report that we just got. It was Forrester that said $15 billion was spent in the first 3 months of the pandemic on just Band-Aid Wi-Fi work from home solutions. And so where technology advisors can really make an impact today is, what are the long-term strategies around getting back to this work from anywhere and how customers want to engage? So, it's really being available, talking about those reentries and making sure that you have a seat at the table to define the scope and the execution plan of these big projects. So, leveraging the experts, leveraging the tools that are provided through the AppSmart community, and, every one of us here on the phone, we can bring really experts to the table to help our partners sell.
Jim or Garrett, you want to chime in on that as far as where people are finding these kinds of deals?
One thing that I've seen that's been quite successful with our trusted advisors is, the skill set of mining your base and finding incremental new logos are very, very different. And so we refer to them as hunters or farmers, but it takes a lot of time to find a new customer, especially if we're talking about $100,000 customer. But a lot of times it's right there in your backyard already. And especially when we're talking about all the digital transformation that's going on, people moving workloads to the cloud, there is opportunity for technology refreshes all around you. And so, my recommendation would be is look at your base and try to pair up things, outcomes that they may be trying to solve for. So for example, if you have IP customers, they might listen to you just on a call about DDoS. There's all sorts of ways that you can get your foot in the door, and some of these turn into very, very large opportunities. And then that gives time for the rest of your staff, your hunters, to really go out and try to find that new incremental logo.
Talk about the deal characteristics. So let's go dig down a little bit deeper. Are you guys seeing these deals? Are they certain types of customers that are hitting the home runs, or verticals, or agency profiles? Where they spend their time. Where are you seeing them? As far as is there any commonality on these kinds of deals?
I would say the only common thread is that there is no common thread. I mean, we talked about this, and it's all verticals from healthcare to retail. Everybody is, reinventing their entire technology stack. And, to Garrett's point earlier, mining your customer base. If you aren't talking to your customers about solving these problems, then someone else is, quite honestly. And, mining your existing customers and leveraging that network. So when CIOs are going, or, you've delivered on a successful project in the past, follow that through the network and rely on that for, introduction. So, certainly not about selling a single product, but it's solving those problems across the verticals.
Yeah, I think what we see too, as far as comment on the customer base, complex environments, multi-location, right? Disparate systems, things that Kathy mentioned, right? This is the idea that even if it's an existing customer too, as Garrett talked about, we talked in the beginning of this, that it's not just one solution you're selling, you're going back and selling others. There's multiple layers to these sales. So think of an existing customer as just someone who's already potentially signed up for one of those. So go back and do your research. And I think oftentimes these customers are looking for a partner who can say, I know the market and I can help you with this, right? I can help you with this discussion or this project.
Yeah, and like if I think about what's in our funnel right now on the large side, I mean, it's retail, it's healthcare, it's gaming, it's all of the above, and each of those customers need a different solution to solve for their needs. So I think it's just really trying to piece together what are those particular needs, and it will drive you to some conclusions where you can position yourself and your business along with us, your suppliers, your trusted advisors as well. And, the other thing I would say is, in a lot of cases, I would say almost every case, all of us bring a lot of support to bear as well. So whether, they're overlay teams or product specialist teams, make sure you're leveraging the organizations. We're here to support you. I know a lot of times when you start talking about edge or CDN or cloud, if your traditional business has been selling over the top voice or something, that might seem mysterious to you. Well, then bring in the experts and we're there to help you. And that can be a multi-carrier solution. You could have Vonage or 8x8, handling the voice, but having Lumen handle the network side, and we can together collectively bring that 100K deal home.
Talking about building new relationships, this industry, we kind of used to build relationships, on the golf course, out to lunch, mixers, those types of things. But as evidenced by the fact we're having a virtual event right now, we don't forge relationships the same way that we did a couple of years ago. What creative ways have you seen trusted advisors find or forge new relationships to be able to find these new opportunities?
So I'm happy to talk about what I think we've seen as being effective, right? I think one of the things that's most effective is that whether it's Kathy, Garrett, or my company, right, the three of us are fortunate to work for very large organizations with robust marketing and kind of customer engagement models. So take advantage of that, right? Use us and use our ability to connect with existing customer bases and mine that, or to reach out to new and kind of inventive ways in terms of engaging your customers or new customers. I think it's safe to say everybody's, dealing with the video conference burnout. So engaging in a meaningful way with your customers, I think oftentimes requires relying on an 8 or a Lumen or a Vonage to help you get in front of more people that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. So as I think all of us have mentioned throughout this call, lean on us as your supplier partners to make sure that there are tools and resources we can offer to you that you may not be taken advantage of.
Totally agree. And then one of the other commonalities I would say for all of our organizations and AppSmart as well is leveraging all of the tool sets that are provided, leveraging marketing campaigns. I know we all put together campaigns that can help, and it's not about selling a product, it's about selling thought leadership and, leveraging campaigns that can be co-branded to message out there. And I can't stress this enough. I said it starts with a capital R in relationship. It's really mining your customer base and making sure that you're staying connected. You built your business on, those successes and following them and following those customers and really making sure you stay engaged and take advantage of those successes that you've had for those large deals. That's really, I think, how they're being found.
I would totally concur there. And I view a lot of these virtual events, hopefully this one as well, is pretty effective. I mean, we are getting, some Zoom fatigue. There's no doubt about it, but there's some positives that come out of it as well. And I've seen some effective things happening just with people following their trusted advisor contacts. So one thing that is always happening is change. So if you think about the people that you did business with before, those CIOs or C-suite people move around. So when they move to another company and you're already the trusted advisor from that previous company, that is a perfect time to be knocking on their door and trying to get in to, talk to them about digital transformation. So that's just one idea to maybe get your foot in the door.
But to recap, we've taken the fear out of the $100,000 deal. We all now believe they're possible. And we've learned some commonalities and best practices in a way to go after them. What's the one thing you want to leave with the audience to help them identify and land their first or next $100,000 deal?
All of us carry a very large target that our bosses give us, and we all need those $100,000 deals, and they are there. We see them. We're engaged every single quarter over quarter, but they're there. So certainly don't shy away from them. And I believe this about the large deals as well as the small deals. It's, delivering on your promises, it's executing, supporting your customers in the transformation to really be truly a trusted technology advisor. I think it opens the doors to solving big problems. And, it's really exactly what we've been focused on at 8x8 is executing and earning our stripes on the small deals so that when they're there, partners will bring us the large deals. So that's really what I want to leave with.
I mean, I agree with Kathy. The other thing I would say is that believe in yourself, right? This idea that if you don't think you're going to close a $100,000 deal, you'll never close a $100,000 deal. So I think you have to have this mindset of yes, right? So in order for all of us to have won in the space what we're talking about today, you have to have the support teams behind you, the engineering groups, to say, yeah, how do we say yes to this? So assume that your solutions provider partners that you're working with as a trusted advisor can come up with something custom for these kinds of customers, because at this stage, at this level of customer that we're talking about, oftentimes it is something custom, and that's what we're all equipped to deliver. So figure out how to say yes, believe that you can do it, and then take it to your partner and say, listen, here's what the problem looks like. Do you guys have a solution for it? And oftentimes we're going to figure out a way to make it work, because that's what we're doing in this space, and that's why we're able to win these $100,000 and above deals for or with our partners.
So the good thing is we have a common thread here with this answer, but so I'll just take it one step farther. Don't be afraid to put us in front of your customer. So I think a lot of times, and I get it, especially, trusted advisors that want to be agnostic and bring multiple, but this is what we do. We sell our solution day in and day out. And we can't expect you to be experts on the 200 suppliers that you represent. So whether it's one of the 3 last options, or if you're leading with somebody, bring us into the boardroom with you and help you close that deal. And don't be afraid to ask, to bring any of us. I think I can speak for everybody on the call. I'll show up and help you close a $100,000 deal. That is meaningful to all of us. And, even my boss, will get on the phone. I'm sure JD and others will as well. So, bring all of those resources to help you close the deal, because we're in this together.
Very, very well put, all 3 of you. And I want to say, I'm not a panelist, so I'm supposed to ask questions and not really make statements, but I've spent almost 5 years, running as a GM and VP of sales of a regional mini master, sales agency. And I've been on the provider or carrier side for a bit. And now I'm with AppSmart. And I will say unfortunately, there's a fear sometimes with trusted advisors to not bring you in, like treat you as a provider. Like when you finally get it, down to the quote, then let you have a shot at it. And I'll tell you where the 3 of you shine, and all of our top platinum providers for that matter, is to be brought in early and often. When you get brought in early, I gotta say, all of you have come in, your companies have come in and tried to find the best solution for the customer. You're not just trying to sell 8x8 or Vonage or Lumen. You really are partners with the trusted advisors. So I want to reiterate that from my side of the fence, that trusted advisors need to bring you in early into the deal to help diagnose the deal and find the right provider. And I'll tell you what my experience with all of you and some of the other top providers, if it doesn't fit your criteria, you'll actually recommend who to go to. So we're about winning together. We're not about just giving you an opportunity to quote. If we wait to give you an opportunity to quote, that's way too far down the line in the decision-making process for that customer. So I want to thank you, Kathy and 8x8 and Jim with Vonage, and Garrett with Lumen. Thank you so much for being on the panel today. I really, really appreciate it.